Here we are, getting ready for New Line Championship Boxing. This is going to be a little different today. Got myself with Austin Chafin and Elijah Thacker. All three of us are on the card, so we're just going to talk about that. It's not really interviewing another fighter like we have been doing.
So how's it feel, Keith, getting ready to get back in there?
I don't know, man. I'm starting to get nervous again. You get that like nervous, scared type of energy. You get up, you're up at night, trying to go to bed so you can get up and go to work in the morning. It was okay when I was younger. When I was like 24, 25, I sit up till 3 or 4 in the morning playing a fight through my head and get up at 6, 7 o'clock for work. That was okay. I was young. Now that I'm older, I get up and I'm like a zombie all day, and then I can't think, can't do crap. My mind's all jacked up. It's cool though. I kind of like it. It's getting me motivated for the first time in a long time to get off the couch and do something. My hand speed's coming back. You've seen some video of me. I'm starting to feel like I'm smooth. Cardio needs work. 286 pounds. I need to go down a little bit. But
I'll ask you what I kind of think everybody's wondering. Why are you doing that? What made you want to fight again after so long?
I'm going to be honest, man. 100% honest. I want to get a couple wins and try to land on a big undercard of like a Mayweather, Jake Paul kind of fight and go get knocked out by some real prospect for a lot of money.
See, you keep telling me that. You keep acting like it's about money. I really don't buy it though. I think there's definitely something in you that's like, I want to compete again.
I do.
I think you see all these cards. I'm the same way. I fought not nearly as much as you, but I've got that background too. And working with you lately, I've been that way. Like, I want to fight again. Like, I want to see if I can still do it.
So yeah, you've been out of the game for a few years, and then really not even thinking about competing, and then you start working with me, and we're talking to fighters all the time, working with fighters, running these events, and then the whole time you're probably kind of wishing you were back in there.
Well, yeah, I felt like my story didn't end the way I wanted it to.
No, yeah.
I was, about 3 years ago, I fought on the first New Line card and I got a great win. I was on top of the world, but I don't even think you knew. I don't think anybody really knew. Leading up to that fight, life had fallen apart. Like, I was homeless for a while. I was walking to the gym. Like, now we've talked about it. But
yeah.
I didn't tell you about a lot of that stuff. And my life was really hard at the time. I was, was going through a lot. Afterwards, we were scheduled to fight Travis Bender for the title. Dude, I'd been dealing with mental health struggles for years, and finally it just caught up with me, and I damn near killed myself. You know that. And
yeah,
took me out of that fight. I was in a coma for a long time, and they told me I would never walk again, probably never talk again. And I woke up and I was talking within an hour. I was walking, within a couple hours, and I had 3 different doctors come in and tell me that they don't know why I'm still here. I honestly never thought I would fight again. After all that stuff, like, it took, I was in hospital beds for almost half a year. It took its toll on me. My body had shut down. I was gone. Like, they said they'd never seen anybody come back from what I'd come back from. But as far as getting back in the cage and stuff, I thought there's no way. I got really out of shape. Now I'm still out of shape, but Riz working with you. And people started believing in me again. And I felt like people saw, hey, he knows some stuff about this.
Yep.
That's when I got approached about starting my own gym. And that was the big factor. Like, there were a group of great people who really believed in me and thought that I still had something left. And then this fight with CJ kind of fell out of the sky. So I'm honestly really excited. Like, it's a chance to overcome a lot. Yeah. And I'm excited to get back in there.
Yeah, man. I never thought you would compete again, and I was pretty tore up, when that happened. We were starting to we were talking a little bit. We didn't have like a friendship like we do now. It was the promoter fighter kind of deal, and I really liked you though, but it was, we weren't like that close yet, and that kind of, that really shocked me when all that went down, and then it's just amazing to see, where you are now, running this gym, so many people looking up to you and relying on you and learning from you. And it's awesome, man. And I could see like it's changing their lives for the better. Definitely.
Well, that's the main thing that I think I've learned in this time I've been away. Everybody's going through stuff. Like all of us are going through darkness. Like you are, I am. Like it's different for all of us, whatever we're facing. But there's going to be times when you feel broken, when you feel like that you can't get through and you should just give up. And I've learned that things get better. Like I've grown, I've changed, I've met so many amazing people, and things got better. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do, is show people that things change, things get better, and like you can rise above really whatever you're going through, transcend your suffering.
Yeah. And then we got Austin over here making his debut. It's now I could be wrong on why you're fighting. His fight kind of, came out of nowhere as well, just like yours. We didn't really get into how yours fell out of the sky, but I know, was it Austin was trying to get a little sponsorship with Julius Purdue, and he reached out to Julius about sponsoring Julius. Julius wasn't wearing his shirt out to the ring, and he's going to pay him to do that. And old Julius didn't respond to him, just left him on the red. So
yep, that's how it went.
So what's Austin do? Challenge him to a fight. So it didn't work out with Julius didn't take it, but the guy Julius just fought, we got that fight set up. So if you can't
coming from commentating and never fighting before, why do you want to do this? Like what made you decide to fight too?
Well, it's really it's something that I didn't always think I'd like share, because it's like an insecurity thing. Like I've always been the little guy. I've always been the dude that people think they can get one up over all my life in different situations. So, it's almost like if I put my mind to anything and I really want to do it, I become good at it. But what's different about this is combat sports. You're punching somebody in the face, someone's punching you in the face. This isn't photography. I got bored. I want to do photography, ended up mastering it, and then I put it down. Then I move on to the next thing. But, when you're out in public or, a situation happens, you always rely on you got to know how to fight. You got to know how to defend yourself. You can't be punked out, and, photography and videography and stuff don't play hand in hand with that. So I think it really just came down to like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of it. And with my work ethic and my drive and stuff, I know I can master anything if I really want to do it. So really what this is, I'm proving to myself more. I'm proving to myself that I can do it. And I'm telling you right now, I'm not going out there. There's a lot of guys that's willing to fight that can't fight. I'm not going out there and throwing haymakers from East Jesus, Montana. I'm in the gym every chance I can get. I'm with you, Elijah. I'm learning, and I want to do things the right way, because always, I was telling you before, like this fight, I don't want to just win the fight. I want to like dominate the kid. And I'm sorry, it has to be him that has to be on the other end of the butt whooping. But this is something that I have to do for myself. And then I can promise that everyone else that watches it's going to be like, oh my God, that kid's dangerous. And he's the goofy commentator too. That's just my personality. But, I think a lot of people get, they take my personality and then they use it for granted, so I'm gonna show on January 29th, the night before my birthday. I'm gonna give myself an early birthday gift, and I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna prove to myself like Like you're the man, and if anybody that tries to mess with you. So I mean, that's really why I'm doing it. I'm a nice guy. I get along with everyone. I don't hate anybody. I like to talk trash and I like to goof around and stuff. But I think, I like you said, Keith, when you're up to 4 a.m. and you're like thinking about it and you're thinking about it and you're thinking about it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought about it, and I'm not nervous for the fight because I'm actually excited because for the first time in my life, I get to step out of my comfort zone and improve something to myself, and to let the thing it's like held me down for years. I get to let that go now. It's not my baggage no more. And I ain't trying to sound like a sob story, but it really is the truth. Like I get to let that go. I get to put that in the past because, there's so many times where you've been in situations, or I've been in situations, you almost, it's like you can sit there and run your mouth but you could probably gonna get whooped. You know what I mean? It's like you're not really gonna do nothing about it. Like you would try to do something about it. You're not gonna sit down with your tail between your legs. But if it came down to it, I would have to be the one to say, "Well, I didn't back down." I don't want to be like that, And like I said, I don't cause trouble, and I'm an all right guy to get along with. But you do run in them situations, and like I said, where I'm the little guy. Everyone thinks they can get one up on me, and little do they know, I don't know what it is. It's like anything I put my mind to that I really want to do, I like, and I want to master it. I just don't want to be good. I want to master it. So if I master photography, if I master videography, if I master anything I want to do, it's going to be great. So now I'm in the process of mastering, the best as I can get to the 29th, not saying I want to be Floyd Mayweather, but I will master the best I can master till the 29th of January.
Yeah.
And I guarantee with my work ethic, and just because I'm proving it to myself, like I have a bigger fire lit inside of me more than just like, oh, I just want to be good at that. I actually have some crazy motivation behind it of why I'm doing it. And I think on the 29th, a lot of people's going to be really, really surprised and going to be like, oh my God, he's fought before, or y'all mix matched him with, or y'all did like, but I'm in the gym every day. I'm learning. I'm not cocky. I'm not, Tommy Diamond's supposed to come sometime this week and work with me. I'm wanting to learn from everybody. I'm wanting to take everything I can get. I don't want to just win the fight. I want to be able to walk out of the ring and then be able to look at anybody and them know like, okay, yeah, that kid's legit, Yeah. And then I'm going to go put my cool suit on, and then I'm going to sit down at the commentary table, and I'm just going to be me. You know what I mean? I don't put on show, I'll be kicking back, doing whatever, but it's going to be, I'm excited. I'm not nervous, and I'm sure I'll be nervous before the fight, but I'm not nervous because I just got a raging fire burning in me, and I have the opportunity to take the thing that's held me down for so many years, and I finally get to let that go. That's why I'm excited for the fight. I get to take the insecurity. I get to take the everybody pointing the finger, all the things that put you down and makes you feel like you're not good enough and you're under this platform. It goes in the trash forever after the 29th. And that on top of the dedication, my work ethic, it's going to be a great night. It's going to be awesome.
Man, I mean, this is the biggest excitement I've had. I'm not even for my own fight. Just the fact that you two guys are fighting, then all the other fights, man. I mean, I'm becoming friends with so many of these guys that I'm excited for every fight we have on the card.
It's amazing. Like once you start working with them and matchmaking, since I've been working for you, I've met so many amazing people. Like the West Virginia MMA scene is so closely knit, and like so many good people. It blows my mind. It's honestly changed my life. Like I love everybody.
Yeah.
I feel like I've gotten a whole new family with New Line.
Yeah, there's not a lot of fighters in the state, so everybody knows everybody. It's such a small population of fighters that it's really hard we couldn't have divisions with just in-state fighters. Like, there's just not enough guys. You would end up fighting the same people every time. But it's such
I missed part of what you said.
Oh, he got deep, man.
But that's the thing. Before I wanted to tell you, you've been training with me, and you talked about your personality. You think people misjudge you a lot. Like, I think I did at first. I didn't know what to think of you. You're flashy. Like, you're full of. You got a huge personality. When you said you wanted to fight, I thought you were full of shit. Like, I didn't believe you. I thought he has no idea what it takes to be a fighter. I was wrong. When you started training with me, man, you've got work ethic, you've got heart, you got everything it takes to be a fighter. And like, you're not bad already. You're green, but you're good. I'm excited to see what the future holds.
I just, well, your phone died, but I was telling Keith, I was like, I'll be nervous the night of the fight, like anybody would, but I'm excited because I finally get to all the junk that I've taken just for being the small guy and the guy that everyone thinks they can get up over. On the 29th, I finally get to let that go. And then what
I always like to keep in my head, like the night before the fight or the night of the fight. The night of the fight's really the night where the nerves start happening. The night before is rough. When you got all those people there watching you and stuff, that's when it really starts sinking in. Okay, it's time to do this. You got to sit back and think of all the greatest fighters of all time, all the best people, all the best. They've had those same feelings. Everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid when they step in there. If you're not, you're a fool. Like, you're walking in the shoes of some great men when you get in that ring.
Yeah. I don't think, and like I said, I know it's early. I'm not nervous. I'm eager. I'm real eager, and not in a cocky way. I'm eager because it's something that I get to take off myself. You know what I mean? And it's been long due, and I know that I got to get to where I need to be. And that's why, I'm sparring with Denzel Chapman, knowing that I'm going to get, whooped in there with him taking it easy on me. But I'm like, show me everything. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see the best. I want to see the best come at me because I don't want to have a doubt in my mind, knowing that the nerves are going to be kicking in when I'm walking out to the ring. But when I get in the ring, I know I'm the best version of myself. And when I get out of there, I can't say, well, if I would have done this or if I would have done that. Like, and like I was telling Keith, I have nothing against the kid I'm fighting, but it's a shame he's got to be the one that's going to get behind the butt whooping. Like, I have to, I'm going to kill him. Like, I have to do it. And it's for me. It's nothing against him. I got to do it for me. And it's just sad that he's going to have to be the one to be behind it. What holds the future after that, I can't tell you. I don't know.
I was curious, what kind of nerves did you have before your fights?
Dude, I get scared to death. It may be a good thing. I don't know. I get really tore up until the bell rings, man. Like, I'll come into the ring, scared to death. Like, oh man, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? I climb in there and it's like, it's awful when they're announcing your name and you're like, oh, chest pounding. You're like, why? Like, why am I doing this? This guy's wanting to kill me. Then, like, as soon as that bell rings, man, that's all gone. Then I'm just doing what I do, man. I
think how you got to take it, in combat sports is obviously different than other sports, but if you really just want to break it down, the nerves is all extra stuff that shouldn't really matter, considering, like, if you play basketball, you're going to basketball practice and you're doing, you're scrimmaging, right? But when you go play a game and the crowd's there, you're doing nothing more than what you did in practice, and what you did in practice is what you're going to have to do on the floor. So anything else that affects you from doing what you're supposed to do would be the crowd and everything. It's extra stuff. You know what I mean?
And that never got to me. That never got to me, man.
I was thinking back on my first fight. I didn't feel anything. The whole day, the whole night of the fight, I expected that I was going to be a nervous wreck. So I've dealt with anxiety all my life, depression. I'm in my own head all the time. That night, I felt nothing. I've never been more focused in my life and never been more ready for something. And honestly, it's because of everything I went through to get there. I mean, I remember walking to the gym 2.5 hours just to be able to train to make it to that fight. I remember, walking through the cold, the dead of winter. I remember being hungry. I remember sleeping under a bridge for about 2 weeks, like just trying to be close to the gym because I got to the point where my body couldn't take walking that far every day. And like, I knew that kid wasn't going to beat me. I had no nerves whatsoever because I knew he hadn't been where I'd been. And I still feel that way about this fight coming up. I know my opponent has more experience than me as far as actually getting in there boxing, but we've all seen him. That's honestly why I called him out, why I don't really respect him very much, because I know that he's not sacrificed the same things I have for this sport.
Yep.
I don't pretend to be a fighter. I don't ever pretend to be a fighter. And I think he does every day. I think he's talking about turning pro. Like he's not a professional. I'll show you. I'm not even a boxer. I'm a wrestler. But I take it very seriously. I never dreamed I'd be getting in there again. I'm probably not ready. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not ready. Like I'm heavier than I've ever been, as far as competing. Like I competed at 165, last time. Now I'm a heavyweight, but I don't care. Like I know I can beat this guy, and it's not because I don't, it's just because I know he's not been where I've been,
Oh,
Are you falling apart, Keith?
dude, working out for the first time in years is beating me to death, man.
Keith's best bet to go in the fight is put baby oil on the top of his head. Just put your head down and blind him. Let those lights reflect off top of your head. He comes in on you.
Guys, I don't know how heavy I was, a few weeks ago, but after I've been working out, I'm 286. I'm 286 right now. I don't know what I came from. I don't know if I was over 300, maybe 290. I don't know. I'm
putting on weight.
Heavier than you realized when you started.
Yeah, definitely heavier. I was stepping on the scale the other day, and I was expecting it to say like 265, 260. But I was thinking maybe I came from like 270. No. Step on that scale, and it starts, like it's up and down up there. I'm like, it's like in the 280s. I'm like, what? And I'm like looking around, like, dude, I'm just wearing a t-shirt and some shorts. I'm like, checking my pockets. It's showing it was like 285.7 on the thing. I'm like, what in the world?
Was there ever a time where you felt like it was over for you? Like you would never do this again?
All the time. It's the last several years. Like the only time I felt like it, I don't know, I guess for a little bit, I did that backyard fight in Ohio, like a little over a year ago. And I did pretty good, but I was so tired after that fight. And it was just 3 1-minute rounds. And I was like, man, I'm never doing this again. Never. And what do I do here? Like a year later, I'm doing 4 3-minute rounds. What am I thinking? But I did zero training for that, like nothing. I was there just to watch some other people fight, and I ended up getting one. I kicked my sandals off, strapped on a pair of gloves, and I stepped out in the dirt and threw some hands.
Now that you're training again, I know it's early days. I know you just started back.
Yeah.
How do you feel mentally? Do you feel a change in like who you are? Like,
yeah, I'm starting to get more confident in my skills again. But when I do my running, no, I'm like, I need to. I only have a month. Got like 32 days or something like that. But
after I'd went through everything I went through, and was in the hospital and got out and like wasn't training at all, didn't have really a gym to train with, like I felt like a different kind of person. Like when I was fighting and training, I felt tough. like strong. I feel like I could get through anything.
Mhm.
This is why I made it through everything I did. Like I remember like being cold, being hungry, being like, I was strong though, like stronger than I'd ever been mentally. But then all that stopped and my life got better. Like things got better. Things weren't so hard anymore. You know, I was eating well. I was doing well. I wasn't cold anymore. And like, I started feeling weaker, like inside, like a weaker man. Didn't feel like the same warrior anymore that I used to be.
Yeah.
But now that I'm training again, like for a time I was like, okay, that part of me's dead. That guy died, you know. But now that I'm get back with it, now that I have my own gym, like I feel it again. Like he's not dead. There's still a warrior in there somewhere, and it feels good.
Yep. I love it, man. I love you send me the little video clips and stuff. I love watching that, man. And I'm seeing like every time you send me one, you're a little better at something. Like something's coming back to you. Your hands you're hitting a little harder. Your hands are a little faster. Your grappling's getting better. Something's better every time, and I love seeing that.
Do you know what really changed for me? Because I've tried to get back with it before. I've been inconsistent though. What's really changed for me is the environment around me. People believe in me now.
Mm-hmm.
Carries a lot of weight. I feel like I have to prove them right. I have to show them, there's a reason to believe in me.
Yeah.
And not having that is bad. Like you need people around you who make you feel like you should succeed, like that you can succeed. And I've been around toxic people for a while. Until recently, until I met you, started working with you, and then really branched out on my own and met guys like Austin, guys like Jason Workman. Jason really encouraged me to start this gym, and him believing in me meant a lot, like all these guys. And I think it changed my life, to tell you the truth. I needed this. I needed this fire lit under me.
Yeah.
Every single day, that even if we're not in the gym every day, for me it almost feels like every day I feel like the fire that's in me is actually it's coming out because I have something to look forward to. You know, like Thursday we're heading to the gym, you know, like and it gets me ready, and then I'm sitting and I'm practicing here at the house, and then I feel like, you know, each day I go back into the gym, you know, I leave with something new and something to grow on and something to build on and stuff. So it's almost like I like the way I feel right now. And now physically, you know, I'm getting in shape, you know, that's different, but mentally about it, it's like a drug. You know what I mean? We're a month away from the fight night, and it's already like I'm addicted, you know? So it's almost like
there.
Yeah. So like after the fight, what am I going to do?
Hearing you say that.
What am I going to do after the fight?
Now, we're going to have another fight. We're going to call out Julius Purdue.
You know,
shut up, Juice.
Hey, listen,
I'm telling you, man, there though. That's the reason I started that gym. Hearing that, it means the world to me. It lights a fire in me, because seeing this change people's lives is everything.
Yeah.
And Keith, Elijah can tell you. He could tell you each day I walk out of there, I'm battered, bruised. I get whooped. You know what I mean? But it's still, I don't leave and like, oh man, I got whooped. That ain't for me. But no, it's like, it's like, it's a fire. It's like putting gas on it. It's like the gasoline. And then I come back and I'm even more hungrier because I'm more determined. I told Elijah, we sparred a couple rounds, and I said, I might get whooped both rounds, but I promise you won't whoop me as bad as what you did that first round.
And how much different do you feel in your life, though? Do you feel like you can believe in yourself like you couldn't before?
Yeah,
that's something that changed for me when I started training.
Yeah, I feel more confident. I do, but nothing's really going to be a dramatic change until after the fight, because that's the big thing. I got to do it for me. Like, you don't you don't understand. It's like, I can't explain it. I have to do it for me. You know, everyone asks me like, oh, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. And really, I don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have, you know, to them, I don't have to. What would be the reason? But they don't know, like, inside, you know, like, I have to do this. So like, I could go spar and punch somebody in the face and be like, okay, I feel better now. No, I have to do something that challenges me, puts me out in front of people, that gets me completely out of the comfort zone. Because when you're in those situations where you feel like you're nothing and you feel like you're below everything, you're obviously out of your comfort zone, right? So I have to do something and succeed out of my comfort zone, like on the 29th, in order to throw all that baggage away, so I don't have to deal with that no more. And then, but the fire that burns inside of me, like leading up to the fight, I'm excited because I know every time I go to the gym, I'm gonna learn something new, and I'm getting better and I'm getting better. Because, and then once fight night happens, I'm gonna be like, all right, now it's serious business. I've got all the tools. I'm tuned up. Now I got to do what I got to do. And then if I do decide to fight a second time, it's going to be even worse on the guy that fights me the second time, because then I'll have more time. Because if I decide to fight again, it means either I didn't prove something to myself, which is going to be like 10 times more of a fire burning in me, or like I said, it's going to be like a drug. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to get more. I got to get more. And my work ethic is just anything I do. Like, if I don't want to do it, I'm not good at it. If I don't want to do it, forget it. But like I said, with the photography, videography, like anything, like I want to be the best. And I know I'm not going to be Mayweather on the 29th, but I will be the best version that I could possibly be on the 29th, you know. And then if I do something in March, I'll be a better version of March than what I was in January on the 29th. You know, I feel like I'm improving quickly. I really do. Even from like a short, you know, almost a month of training, and we still got a month more to go. I'm a quick learner. I was never, when I would fight, I was never wild and reckless. You know, I was more of like, I had all the tools. They just needed to be tuned a little bit. You know what I mean? Simple stuff. It was just real simple stuff. And now that my body's getting used to it, you know, of doing things like the right way and staying tuned up, my body's, you know, I'm more stronger in my upper arm right here. You know, I can hold the gloves up, you know, I'm not at the point where I'm sitting there dangling like, oh my God, it feels like I got cinder blocks on my hands. My legs feel a whole lot better. You know, my wind's getting back. It was just a tune up. And it almost kind of sucks that I didn't start training, let's say in like, I don't know, September or something like that, because my God, it'd be crazy. But, you know, I think for the progress that I'm making, and even in the short time that I got, that I'm going to be perfectly fine. And it's all thanks to people like Elijah, you know, that allows me to come in and grow, you know, because, you know, I won't mention a name, but I did go to a nerd gym one time before, and I went in there and I just, man, they didn't help me at all. You know, all they did was just intensify the insecurity that I had, you know, and then it made me be like, what the heck?
That's
you
not
know,
good.
I come with Elijah, and now I got that fire burning, and they don't take it easy on me. By all means, they don't. Elijah about knocked me out the other day. But I learned, because, like I said, by the time that second round came, he still got the better hand on me, but it wasn't as bad as the first. And then it's just improvement. It's improvement.
I mentioned earlier, you know, what I was going through, you know, growing up in kind of a toxic environment, being around people who don't really care whether you succeed. You know, I know what Jim you're talking about. You know, that's where I trained out of. I know what it's like there. And I feel like they make a lot of people feel that way. I'm not going to mention them either, but like, I think they're not the only gym that does that to people.
No, I said,
I feel like you get caught up in the ego of it. You get caught up, we're fighters, we're tough guys, like, and you make people feel small, and they feel like if they don't quite fit in, that's not what it's about. I remember a time when, you know, I didn't fit in. I remember when I was a scared young kid who I never imagined would be a fighter. But like, I needed something. And I think that's why people need it.
Mm-hmm.
Like most people aren't there to be a fighter. Most people are there because they want to belong. That's far more important to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I never got to tell Denzel, really like, hey, I appreciate you for coming down. But if he watches this, I do appreciate him coming down, because for
He's
him
the
to
best
be
type of dude. It was an honor to have him.
He's have awesome. A guy in the gym that you could arguably say they're the number one, fighter in West Virginia, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. But to say you have a guy that's on that level, that comes in and is willing to teach and allowing you to learn. Yes.
Grateful.
Because there was many times we was sparring, he could have tuned me up easy.
Yep.
Yeah. And it could have been bad. But even though he didn't sit and play patty cake with me, he worked me, to my level, he worked me pretty good. But I felt like the second time that I sparred with him 10 minutes later after the first time, I improved on some things, because I'm constantly watching, I get tagged, but it's like a processor in my brain. I'm like, okay, Austin, why did that happen? Oh, it's because you wasn't in position to move and roll under. Okay, well, wait for him to throw that again. And I remember he threw one shot and I rolled right up under it. Jason's like, yeah, good job. But that was something that was in the second fight. The first fight, I got tagged with it, but it was something even when I was watching him and Stumpy sparring, when I was taking the break in between, I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm taking the positives and I'm seeing what he likes to do most, but it's good to have a guy, that's very talented, that comes in and allows you to work and stuff, because that's what I need. And that's what everybody needs. If you just go in there and get tuned up by somebody, that does you no good.
I tell you what, speaking of a good training partner like that, I should give a shout out to Michael Watts, man. He's been a godsend to me lately. Yeah. He's been great for me, the perfect training partner for me to get back with it, pushes me, motivates me, and like we help each other get better. Like we've got a lot of guys like that, with this new gym. Like it's just the right environment for people to grow, and like no ego. Everybody's looking out for each other. Like whatever we're going through in life, we're there for each other. That's what it's supposed to be. That's a team.
Yeah.
And you're not just there for people in their victories. You're there for people when they're suffering, when they're struggling. That's what I wanted. And I think that's what we built so far.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's looked at the gym in a way like some people look at other gyms. Like usually when you think about joining a gym, what's the first thing you always think of? Well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost to go? You know what I mean? It's just truth. And then you start getting in that mindset of like, okay, I'm going to go there. I'm going to get whooped and I'm going to have to pay. I feel like when people come to Underdog, that's not what they think about. Like, this is the place where I should be because I'm going to grow. And I got people that support me and they're going to actually help me grow, and they want to see me succeed. They want to see me get better. They're here for me. I feel like a lot of gyms, and I'm not just going to say gyms, just companies or any other place, there's not a lot of just people. We'll just say people out there that have that mindset that cares for others and wants to see other people succeed. It's funny because then towards the end, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, man, how much it is? Yeah, $25 a month. $25 a month, you get to be in here and use the weight room. They're like, dude, what? But it's never the first thing on their mind because few people come. Then the next class we have, these people talk about it, and then they come, and they don't ever come in and say, yeah, man, how much you want for a membership? They come in. So and so told me about it. Said he had a great time and he learned a lot and it was a great atmosphere. I want to see what it's like. And then they leave that day and then they bring a buddy. It's only been open for a few weeks, and look how much it's grown.
Every class, how a good gym, every class, people are staying late, talking, bullshit and hanging out, joking around, hugging each other after class, shaking hands. Like that's what we've had every time.
Yeah.
People have fun.
Yeah.
We have fun. Get better.
It's pretty cool. Sometimes you tell me like, we're training from like 6:30 to 8:30 today. And then, usually what happens around 8:45, you get a phone call from me like, hey man, how'd it go? And then you guys are still in there just hanging out. Like I hear everybody chit chatting in the background. You're like, yeah, man, we're just down here hanging out now. Just, shooting the crap. I'm like, all right, man, I'll let you go. And then
that's what I got into this for. I was a lonely kid. I've never had brothers and sisters. My mom died when I was young. I needed a family. Like, I needed community. Like, I needed that, like a brotherhood, people who, wanted to see the best for me in life. I never had that. I guess I had to start my own place to get it. But I think we finally got that spirit, and I like it.
Everyone's got a different road that they walk, but it's all similar in a way that everybody is looking for the same thing. They're walking different paths. They go through different stuff, but at the end of the day, they're taking the same thing out of what they get in that gym, and they're all leaving with what they was really looking for. And that alone is more important than fighting, money, anything. When you feel like you belong and you have that connection with people and they understand, because that's what they was searching for too, and everyone finds it. It's great.
We talked about it earlier. Everyone's going through something.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's suffering in some way. People, you lose people. Like Denzel, just his brother, terrible things happen all the time. Things falls apart in ways that you don't expect. And to have a place where you can go no matter what's going on, and you've got people who care about you, who love you, who want to see you get better, and you've got a way to get better no matter what's happening. That's a gift.
Yeah, and every day that you're alive,
really what changed for me is I felt like giving up when I felt like everything was over. My perspective changed in these last few years. That's why I've grown. I've realized the fact that we're all suffering, we're all going through it, yet we find a reason to get up in the morning. We find a reason to go train, or we find a reason to go to work. We find a reason to, spend time with our families. We make it through somehow. That's the miracle of life. And that's something we all forget about.
Yeah.
Like, every day we're forgetting about that. Yeah. People are making it despite horrific circumstances.
Just like I told you the other day, we get caught up on the little things, and then it's always a bunch of little things that we create into a big problem, and it gets in our head. But if you ever get on Google Maps and you look outside your house in your neighborhood, you're not too big then go out to the county. Not big then go out to the state. Then eventually, you're up in space, on Google Maps. Everything just gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's the reality of it. This is very real. This is a real world we live in. This is a real universe. This is very real. So we got to quit taking what I like to call neighborhood problems. You know what I mean? Because it's just stuff. It's just right here that a lot gets sprung on us. And then we break down. But man, how big is this world? It's really not, and every day that you're alive, you have an opportunity to do something great. And that's, it's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong.
Anytime
truth,
somebody's going through something that they act like, oh, I'm broken, this is it. I think back, like, I've been through, like 3 years ago, I thought it was over. And you can look back on those things like you think the end and smile. Like, I thought it was over then. It's not. Like, there's so much more to life. Like, things change, and you have the capacity to get better always. As long as you don't give up, you can get better.
I'll ask you this, because, and you can answer it or not, but if there's people watching that might, they might need to hear it, your definition of, oh my God, this is it, I can't do it no more, and then going through, almost killing yourself thing, was that moment in your life, now that you look at it, was it really that bad? You know what I mean? Like, do you look back now and say,
at the time it was horrible.
At the time, but now that you look back,
but here's what happened. Like, your brain's, what depression is, it's your brain lying to you. That's what it really is. Like, it's like a veil comes over your eye. Like, you can't see what's real. What you do see is that little voice in your head telling you, you don't matter. Nothing's going to change for you. Nothing's going to get better. You're going to suffer forever. And you're never going to find happiness. Like all those little lies that your brain tells you in those dark moments. That knows. But it's not real. None of it's real. Because there is beauty, there is light, and there is always a way out. That's what jiu-jitsu taught me. Like, no matter how bad the situation seems, there's an escape. Mm-hmm. There's a counter. Like, there's something you can do to make your situation a little bit better.
And you're a better version of yourself. You're a better version, and that's the thing. And
when you get knocked down, you have to get back up.
There'll be a better version of you 10 years down the road than what you are now.
Absolutely.
And then that 10 years down the road, that version, there'll be a better version of that 20 years down the road. Because life, as you go through it, throws different things at you at different times. It's like a level. I almost look at it like a level. You beat that level.
You're a bit younger than me. Keith, you're an old man practically.
Yeah.
It's been a good question to ask Keith.
How many times have you felt like giving up? I bet it's been a million.
Yeah. So during the
and I don't mean
Depression,
like giving up, like as far as like killing yourself or whatever. I'm talking about just giving up. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
I should quit.
During the Great Depression, it was just hard. It was just hard to find food, man.
When you were standing in the bread lines,
and then and just taking charities, and then World War II came along. Luckily, at the time, I was too old for the draft, so I had aged out. But I mean, there's been some rough times.
And it is age. They say time heals, right?
Now hold on, I'm not letting off so easy. We know good and well running New Line is not easy. Sometimes I've seen how hard you work. Yeah. I know there are times when you feel like I don't know if I can keep doing this.
How many times have I told you I've been just so overwhelmed with things? I'm like, Elijah, I just hope somebody comes along and just offers me some money and buys me out. And it happened once. One time somebody offered me money and I accepted it. And then
I've told you every time.
Yeah, then they came back and they
do with yourself.
Then they offered me a lot less, and I was like, no. Yeah, but at that time I was kind of like, some stuff had happened and I was upset with some people, and I was just frustrated. And man, looking back, I'm like, I put so much work into this. I don't want to just hand it over to somebody. And it's nothing spectacular, but it's kind of like, it's my thing, man. The promoting is something I feel like, I don't know. It's weird to say. I feel like I was made to do it, but as a kid, my friends could tell you we were always organizing tournaments and things in our neighborhoods and organizing our own leagues and keeping like full stats on like hockey. We were playing my friend Adam McClung had a whole set of hockey nets and pucks and nets and every hit all of it. And we had leagues up there, man. We kept stats and we would organize this stuff, like challenge other neighborhoods to games. And we even with jiu-jitsu, we were calling it like, we were making little flyers about, I think Mike Stauer was making flyers on Paint, Microsoft Paint. We were like setting up these like UFC tournaments. It was grappling. We did some full on MMA fights too as kids, but we've been doing this for a long time, man. Then when I got older, man, I fought for some good promoters. I learned some stuff from those guys. I fought for some really unorganized promoters, learned more from them than I did the good promoters. I mean, when you go through bad experiences, you're like, you learn from that. But like this one time, the fight card had me listed as, I was fight number 7. And we're in the locker room. I had just got my hands taped. Fight number 1's in the cage. My hands just got taped, hadn't warmed up. And next thing you know, like I hear my music playing. I'm like, dude, somebody's coming out to the same song as me. And I'd walk out of the locker room, go look, and I'm looking around like, who's coming out to my song, man? And I'm just looking around and everybody's staring at me and I'm over here just got hand wrap on. So, and then somebody's like, Keith, get in the cage. They've been calling for you. I'm like, give me a second. I run back to the locker room. think Josh Stepp had my gloves. Like, Josh, man, I need my gloves, dude. They're like calling. They're all like, what? Like, you're 5 fights out. I was like, no, they're calling for me right now. So he throws my gloves on, throws a little tape on them real quick. And I like just run out to the cage, man. That was a bad experience. And then there were fight cards I fought on that you had no idea. They didn't post a fight list. You had no idea when you were up until they were calling you to the cage. And then plenty of promoters were, lying about your opponent's records and things like that. Like, oh, this guy's off the couch. He's a bum.
Well, it's like back in those days, sometimes, they'd pull people out of the crowds and stuff.
They did.
It was like the dark ages.
They did. My debut.
I don't know if Austin knows about any of that stuff. Cause like, I'm telling you, Austin, like our sport was wild back in Keith's day.
The Wild West.
It really was.
I mean, it was fun. I mean, the team.
There's nothing that's ever that's going to be like it. Like those early days of MMA.
No. The closest thing you'll get to that is like street beefs, maybe. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You can, pile up in a car of you and your friends and travel and all of you, maybe 2 of you have a fight scheduled and then all 10 of you get to fight. That's what it was like. And it was fun. And, kind of like the promoter made the rules. Like when you fought in Kentucky back up until I think 2008, like the promoter was the end all, man. Like the promoter made the rules. They made the weight classes. They made everything. They did whatever they wanted. I mean, like I said, there were some good promoters, some bad promoters. I loved fighting for Doug Day. I've
heard of him. I've heard he had good shows.
Yeah, in Hazard. I wish I had fought there more. I'm still friends with Doug to this day.
I think some of my first experiences seeing local MMA were maybe his shows. When I was, I'd go over there in Hazard and train with John Helton and those guys. Mm-hmm. Ken Beverly, that's how we first met. Ken and I met when I was probably 16 and he was 15, and we met over at John Helton's place.
I was about to say Ken was probably still in diapers then, was
Oh yeah. Ken is Ken's probably 2 years younger than me, either 1 or 2 years. And then Stone is a couple years younger than Ken. Those guys have had crazy experience for, kids fighters their age. It's kind of amazing. But I've been in this game a long time too, because, I was 15 started.
Yeah. Now I'll tell you that I haven't fought in forever, fought or trained in years. And I'm kind of doing something similar to how I did it when I first got into fighting. I trained by myself in my garage. When I was like 19, I think, when I fought in the first time I did a tough man contest. Like, actually, but for that one, I didn't train at all. I just ran. I had no intentions of fighting. I probably never would have fought if this hadn't happened. About a week before the Logan Tough Man contest, I think it was 2003. I hadn't signed up for it. I started getting people on, I think ICQ were messaging me telling me good luck in the Tough Man contest. I was like, what? Because I was going to school at Marshall. I was in Huntington. I didn't see the paper. I started getting people telling me good luck, man. Like my name was on the list. I'm like, what in the world are they talking about? And I called my buddy Tejan, like, dude. And because his name was on the list too, I was like, dude, we're on the list for the Tough Man. Like, well, how did this happen? What does Tejan say? This is Ronnie's boss. He says, dog.
Yeah, I was wondering. I've heard them talk about him. I didn't know he fought.
He's like, no. He's like, yeah, I signed us up, man. He signed me up. He told me, he said, I think you'll do really good. You might win it. That's why I signed you up. Like, dude, I've never even boxed before. I have no training. So, I ran a lot that week. And I was already in good shape. I mean, I was probably like 165 pounds. I was pretty good shape. I started, just doing a little more distance running and stuff, and kind of overdid it, to be honest. Like I ran the day of the fight. Like I ran like 5 or 6 miles that day before the fight. That was stupid. But then the second night came and I was exhausted. But I won my first fight. First time I'd ever even had gloves on my hands. Like I didn't know what it was like to hit somebody with a pair of gloves on. I had no idea. I'm hopping around, man, like a freaking rabbit. My hands were down at my waist. And I was just like going back to like karate. I had karate when I was in, I think, third grade with Carlos Turner, and I did a little more when I got in high school. But I was just I got to a yellow belt in karate, and I was thinking of that this right hand that we threw in karate. When you kind of throw it from the waist, it was an awkward thing, and I won I threw that dude and knocked the dude out cold 18 seconds. Like, and I think he had just, and
I am good at this.
Yeah. That's when it changed. I kind of fell in love. I knocked this dude out and I fell in love with it. And that dude was the
there's no
runner-up.
feeling like that in the world.
Yeah. I was scared because that guy, we spoke before the fight. And when he told me that same year, he was the runner up at the Rough and Rowdy in Charleston. So I'm like, oh shoot, this dude's like, he's legit. I was scared to death. And then I knocked him out. I didn't really give him a chance to do anything. Every time he took a step forward, I would take a big leap backwards. Like I swear, there's video somewhere. I was hopping around like a freaking bunny rabbit. And I throw this massive right hand and just laid him out. Like he just dropped like a sack of potatoes, just boom. And then his legs, he's laying there, his legs.
I bet he still thinks about that.
Yeah. We're still friends too. But yeah, he was laying there, his legs were running. And I was like, I didn't know what to do. So I did the old Buff Bagwell. I did the whole Buff Bagwell celebration. I don't know where that came from. I hadn't watched wrestling since I was in junior high, but I knocked this guy out and I'm like, Buff Bagwell. I did the Buff celebration.
Dude, I don't know if you remember after my fight, but I was yelling with obscenities. Like, dude, I was off the rails.
I haven't watched the full video in a while.
If you remember right after the fight, I dropped my trophy and everything, broke it, and I was bobbling it, and like broke it everywhere. And it's like, fuck it, I don't need it.
Yeah, you got video and pictures. You're good. Yeah, you were so happy that night, man, and
that honestly was maybe the happiest night of my life. Like everything felt right. Like I worked hard to get there.
There's a lot of pictures. There's a lot of pictures. You, Ryan Stell, Dustin Looney. I think Tyler Smith was in those. But like I've seen a lot of pictures because all you guys won that. Yeah, like all you guys won that night. It was like you guys were on top of the world, man.
Man, that was a good night. Things fell apart after that, but that was a beautiful moment. Like I still love those guys. I love Aaron. Aaron, I would not be the jiu-jitsu artist I am today without Aaron Goebel. Aaron Goebel is one of the slickest black belts you'll ever run across. If you're in Eastern Kentucky, that's the guy to train under.
Yeah.
He's slick.
Look at Austin. He's got his opponent in the background.
Uh-oh.
How you doing, buddy? Touch your hair. Touch your hair a little bit. Yeah, I'm just really, if you want to be honest, I'm more excited. I get to meet Morgan Wallen. Hopefully, after I get done putting a whooping on him, that he can like sing for me. Maybe it'd be nice. Might go down to Al Dean's or something.
Well, my opponent's got quite the music career as well, so I'm hoping maybe
I heard something like he trained Jason Derulo or something. That's what I heard. Or
doesn't he? I think he records all this stuff and then sends it over to Jason, and Jason just sings over it and kind of redoes it all or something like that.
Right? Yeah.
I don't think Drake, the guys like Drake and Kanye West, they wouldn't be anything without CJ Love.
No.
Best ghostwriter. I mean, legendary lyrics like.
So Elijah,
we keep it PG on the.
I do have a interview question for you here.
All right, let's hear it.
Is it true that you plan to walk out to the ring to one of CJ's songs?
I thought about it, but they're so bad. Like I feel like it would reflect poorly on me. I've been thinking a lot about my walkout song though. I've got a few things on my mind.
If you don't walk out to one of CJ's songs, I'll put the headset off.
I'll have to have a song that makes me reflect on my whole life's journey.
I'm sure CJ's got a song for that. He's got about 22 just as much as how
I've been
many
looking through his
losses
repertoire.
he's got on his record through street
I haven't
beefs.
quite found
He's made a
the one
song
yet.
for every loss he's got.
I wish you'd make
Cold.
a song about me. I'd love to hear it.
You know,
If
it'd
you
be
make-
great.
I'll tell you this: if CJ writes a song about me, I'll walk out to it.
I hope he
Okay.
walks out to a diss track to you. I'll walk out with him.
I'd
out
love
there.
to see it.
When they're dancing. I was thinking about my fight song. I didn't know if whiskey glasses would be appropriate or
Why not, man?
Broadway girls or Silverado for sale. I think would be a good one. You know,
I think girls
he had a
just
lot
want
of
to have
success out
fun.
of that
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna come out to maybe some Incubus or something. I don't know yet. Or I've been listening to a lot of classical music, but that
Not
gets
to
me
Rise
through
of
these.
Valkyries. You know that one?
No,
No.
Bum ba bum 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 ba bum bum bum.
Listen, I know guys have their style, but when they just come out to stuff like that, like I'm sorry, I don't get into it. Like
Yeah.
Keith,
It's because you're a
Keith,
child.
we need
man.
to we need
You're
to do
not
some fun.
mature enough to understand.
Mature enough, son. Listen, Keith, get the sponsors going, baby. But
I played Austin.
we're getting Falls
one of my
Machine,
walkout song choices, and
lights. I'm the first fight of the night. I'm going to set the tone. I'm
Yeah,
setting
I
the
was
tone.
gonna come out. I was gonna walk out to "I'm Your Boogeyman" by Casey and the Sunshine Band, like disco, old school shit. He's like when I played it for him, he's like,
the last time I fought, I think I did it. It was a one-off boxing match in 2013. I fought my buddy Jeremy. I came out to No Diggity.
no doubt.
I think it's that was I don't know why I chose that one. I
You
was
gotta
just did
come out of
random
that,
stuff, man.
You,
Just did
you
random
gotta come
stuff.
out of that in January. I would love to.
I'm setting the tone for the night. I'm setting the tone. I will have that.
Yeah.
I will have that crowd raging.
Yeah,
I will
first
have
fight of the
auto
night.
zones burnt
Yeah.
down by the time I come out. It's
Guys,
going to be amazing.
How are we going to do this? Do the pay-per-view? I mean, with Austin, you're fight number 1. Elijah's fight number 3. I'm fight number 9. I'm an old man, so I mean, I was thinking like maybe I could commentate.
I figure you'll
Up
probably
until
be
that.
asleep by that time.
Yeah,
That's
I'll
probably
probably be
past
taking a
your
nap
bedtime.
or something. Yeah. I'll tell you what, being old, it takes a long time to warm up now. So
Being
I
old,
was,
like
yeah,
fucking 70.
I was thinking, I feel, well, after all these broken bones, I feel sad.
Being old, being an old
Yeah.
man.
But
it's hard
it's
to work
weird.
out.
It's probably too where I haven't, I'll tell you, just a few weeks ago, by the time I started to get my body loose, I was exhausted and I was done.
Dude,
my
you're not the
warm
only
up
one.
would kill me.
When I got back with it, I mean, I'm telling you, it was bad. I can't. Dude, it got to the point where I'd walk up like a big flight of stairs and I'd be gassed.
Yeah.
That's how bad shape I was in. I laid in a hospital bed for almost half a year. And like my muscle mass was gone. Like
Mhm.
my legs felt dead. Like, dude, I know how it is. Like I'm still climbing that mountain, I feel like. But now I've got a reason to. I've got a big reason named CJ. Because I can't get made a fool of by him. If I get beat by CJ Matthews, I'm going to have to move to Mexico, change my name, like start a whole new life. So
I just want
pretty
Paul Wallen to
motivated.
sing for me after it's all done.
CJ is very confident in this fight. I saw.
Oh yeah,
on
he says I'm an easy fight. He's
I
gonna
saw
find
that.
out.
Yeah, I saw that on Facebook. You guys.
The only
kinda
thing
going at
easy
it
for
in
CJ
comments.
is him memorizing his order at McDonald's. Okay, it's about the only thing that's went easy for him in his life.
I'll tell you what. He
Hey,
said. Did you
I've
see what
done
he
that.
said today, Austin?
Huh?
Did you see what he said to me today?
No.
He said, "I hope you have health insurance. Don't blame me if you get hurt in this fight."
He did.
That's what McDonald's should be telling him every time he goes
I'm
to the
gonna knock
drive-thru
his
saying,
head into about
I need
the
two
third
number
row. I'll tell you that
nines,
much.
a number 5 large.
Dude, you and CJ, your relationship is completely different than me and Nick. We were like wishing each other Merry Christmas the other day, and like
I don't
you know,
like the fact that he takes this
yeah.
this sport that I love as a joke. Like, he pretends to be something he's not. And I think it's more about image to him. This sport saved my life. This sport is everything to me. Like, there's a reason that I've only fought one time in the whole thing. I've trained for 10 years.
Yeah.
I take it very seriously. I probably shouldn't be fighting now, but the guy honestly pissed me off. So,
so it was
kind of like to give him the business.
Do you want to? We can go into that. How this fight? You said it. just fell in your lap. We were.
I work for you. I'm the matchmaker for New Line. Yeah. So how did I get a fight? Well, I'm trying to find CJ a fight. We're offering him all these people. He's got some reason why he doesn't want to fight. Fight this person. He doesn't. Well, he keeps saying he's too good for everybody. Like Todd Adams, he's been looking for that fight with CJ for a long time. Honestly, I think CJ should have had the honor to accept it because we know he pulled out on Todd before.
Yeah.
Todd had been preparing for him. And then he comes to me and he tells me that he's out of Todd's league. And eventually I was just like, you know what? I'll fight you. And I guess now he said yes. So now I got to fight him.
Yeah. You hadn't even considered fighting at all until you were, and you were telling me, you were like, oh, I'll tell him that I'll fight him. And I was like,
how many times have I told you, like, I'll never fight at heavyweight? There's no way.
Yeah.
Drop some weight, get back in shape. So
that was crazy. It was crazy because I was at work and I think I had texted you or something about it. We were talking. Then I drive over to Panda Express. I'm, getting my Chinese out of the bag and I bring my phone up and then I'm like looking at these messages. I'm like, what? Oh shoot, like Elijah's gonna fight CJ. Like, what in the world? So I go talking to CJ and I'm like, man, like Elijah's good. He's good. I told
apparently he thinks that I'm an easy win, so we'll see.
We'll see.
It's
I'm not overlooking Nick. Nick's not overlooking me. I know, like, we both have respect for one another. I don't know if he's seen me fight or not.
No. It's not that I don't respect CJ. Like, I respect him as a man, as a person. I don't respect him as a boxer because I don't think he is a boxer. I've commentated his fights. I've seen about everything he's done in street beefs. I take this seriously. I'm going to do my homework. And I'm not impressed. I just am not. I've worked really hard in this sport, even, as an MMA fighter, as a grappler, and I've boxed for a long time.
Yeah.
Not like that I don't have any experience. He's going to find that out, and he's going to find out in the worst way. Because, I have no intention of losing this fight. I'm sure I could. Anybody can get caught. I think I have a lot more, reason to be doing this than him. There's a fire in my heart that I don't think he quite understands.
Yeah. He's got that left hand, though, Elijah. We've both seen it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. He throws big power into, I think he's not very technical, but he could catch me. Like, he could embarrass me. He's going to be trying to. Yeah. I don't like that. I really don't. I take that personally. Even though I called him out, I'm like, hey, now. You shouldn't have said yes, you bastard.
You're offended that he accepted.
Yeah, that he accepted my call out. Like, what? How dare you?
How dare you?
Man.
No, it's gonna be fun though. I really, after it happened, when it first happened, I was like, oh shit, I gotta fight again. Like, yeah. I was kind of shocked he did accept. But I'm excited. I get more and more excited every day. I'm training hard.
You are so different right now from that day. I remember talking to you that day, and you were sick. You could barely breathe.
Oh yeah,
you hadn't been
CJ.
training.
I'm going to let you in on some information. I've been half dead. When I called you out, I had pneumonia, bronchitis. I've been sick since the last New Line card. Pretty sure I had COVID. So now's the time.
I'm allowed to trash talk CJ, though. I'm a commentator. I'm allowed to do it because I'm from the same gym as Elijah. So if anybody's fighting any one of my boys out of my gym, I gotta have their back. So
yeah, I'm like his Miyagi. You get like he's got
a reason.
I'll ban him if
I
he's not.
Listen, I'm first
I
fight
have
of
to
the
stay
night.
neutral.
I'm first fight of the night. Elijah's third. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now, I'm not going back into the locker room after. I will come, sweat dripping, tape on the hands, and boxing shoes on, and I'm putting on the headset, and I'm doing it for Elijah. And do not get mad. Do not get mad if that fight commission tries to kick me out because Elijah does something crazy, and I'd be so proud. Like I just jump up on the table and jump the ring, do a backflip, do a cartwheel. I don't know what I'll do. I know
You got to
be
stay
proud.
calm because you got to see Keith No fight.
I'm
excited.
I'm going to be super proud though because I'm very excited for it. You know, like I don't want to corner it. I
feel like this time there's a lot of people that are going to be there rooting for me. And that last time I feel like I didn't have many people there. Like only, one member of my family was able to make it. You know, I had so much going on with my life. It was just bad. It was a bad time. And, my cousin came down from North Carolina. He just died of COVID, a couple weeks ago. So, it makes me sad that he can't be there to see me make my comeback. But I'm going to have a lot of people there this time. And that's awesome to me. Like, there's a lot of people that believe in me now that have seen me get through the things I've gotten through. And, they want to see me succeed too. So that's a different feeling coming in. I think I'm maybe not going to be the underdog this time like I was before. Do you remember the voting like on Tapology for that last fight?
Yeah, it was definitely.
They voted 90% of the people who voted me to lose that fight. I was a pretty big underdog coming in. I don't know why. I probably shouldn't have been. Like, if anybody had any idea what I'd been through to get there, I think the odds would have been different. But
I remember checking. You know how I am as a promoter. I'm just randomly checking in, like, "Hey man, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your health? How's your weight?" Stuff like. I would be checking in with you, and you're like, "I'm on my way to the gym. I'm about an hour away." I'm like, "Man, like, where do you train?" You're like a couple miles away or something. You're like I'm walking to the gym. Like, oh. And then I think we were getting worried that you were going to get too light. You were going to lose too much weight because you were always walking. You were burning.
You couldn't get me out of the gym then too. Like,
no,
my body felt like it was falling apart before that fight. I was training so much. I was overtrained for that fight.
Yeah. I think that's what Holloway had said, was that you were training probably too much. He
didn't train at all, so you weren't on it.
Like, you weren't getting any rest. Your body, you weren't letting your body heal, things like that. And you just wanted it too much.
He definitely had my best interest, though, probably when he was talking to you about that.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Old Justin and I fought one time.
Let's hear the story of that one.
And we were supposed.
It up. I gotta hear about it now.
So I told you about the time that I won a heavyweight title when I was like 168 pounds, because I was supposed to fight for the 155, and then he pulled out, I don't know, 2 weeks before the fight. And then I was fighting for the 170 belt, and then he broke an ankle playing basketball or something like a week before the fight. And then the 185, 205 belts were already on the line. And I was just wanting a title shot. I just wanted to, I think, I was 2-0. I just wanted a title shot. And I was like, well, how about the heavyweight title? Because like I said, like we were talking about earlier, Kentucky at that time was the Wild West. It was whatever the promoter wanted to do, they could do it. So I'm on the phone with Doug, and I was like, who's Paul fighting? Paul the Heat Burns. Who's Paul fighting? He said, well, he's not fighting anybody now. Whoever he was supposed to fight pulled out. So he calls Paul on three-way, and I'm just quiet. I'm being all quiet on there, and Paul accepts the fight with me. And then I go and knock Paul out in the first round. I take the heavyweight title. Here I'm like, I think I had bulked up to a little over 170 for that, and then a month later I was going to defend it, and it was against Justin, and he had a pretty good record. I think he was like 9-3 or something like that. I think I was 3-0. He was 9-3, but he didn't. I don't know what happened. He didn't show up. I like that. He didn't make it, and I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll move on. I did a grappling match that night with Mikey Sebastian. He was like 16 or 17. He was my little buddy. So we did a grappling match. That we had fun. We like it wasn't real competitive. We were in there just working. And but I'm at the next week. We were all at Greg Maynard's house training. Me, Josh Stepp, Steven, Jesse, man, all kinds of us. Anthony Vance, a bunch of us. All of a sudden, we're all in there. We had like a full house. Greg had like a 3-car garage, and he had turned it into an MMA gym. So we're all in there training. Greg's in the house on the computer, and all of a sudden he comes out. He's like, "Guys, stop!" He's like, "Stop! We're going to Pikeville." What? He said, "Keith, I got you a fight. Like right now, we're fighting right now." So we went over to Pikeville, and I fought Justin, man. And I showed,
that's wild.
Yeah, and I showed him, I'm the heavyweight champ. He wasn't.
Humbly spoken.
He's probably a lot better now than he was then.
Oh man, he's a killer. Like, I used to train with Holloway a lot, and dude, the guy's a killer. Like he's super strong, super dangerous. His Kimuras are still, some of the best. He's probably got the best Kimura of anybody I've ever trained with. He does. Dude, the guy can land Kimuras with one arm, and I've only seen a couple of people do that.
I've heard nothing but good things about him. At that time, my jiu-jitsu was just way too much for him. Even though I was a white belt, I hadn't been to a jiu-jitsu class since 2006. I hadn't been ranked up.
I think he really started taking his training more seriously like later.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I first started, he wasn't that serious about training, but like I saw him make a huge jump. Like when he hit purple belt, like everything was kind of coming together. He's got a unique style. Like it's a style of his own.
Yeah.
But like he's really good at everything he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. I've been blessed to train with a lot of very skilled people over the years. Sparred with some really skilled people. That's why I feel very confident coming into this one. Like I'm sure you're the same way. Like you've got a lot of experience, and that carries weight.
Yeah. I had a lot of fights.
Even though you're an old man and you're geriatric now and you're slow and you've lost all your hair.
Yeah. I lost my hair and my mind the same night, actually.
Did it all just fall out at once?
It just all went out the port.
Like
what was you were telling me the other night I was having a midlife crisis because remember I'm
worried about you. Yeah, you're trying to fight 2 different people at once. It was like, okay,
2 weeks apart.
Slow down, Keith.
Yes, they were offering Jeremy a fight, and I was like, I'll take it.
You're ready to fight everybody. That's the thing. That's that warrior inside you coming back to life. I like it. Now, and we're seeing.
I don't think my wife likes it.
Different with Austin. We're seeing that warrior be born within you, man. Like I've seen it in the gym. I really have. Like that day, the other day when I hit you, and you're like, "Come on, motherfucker! You think that hurt?" Like, dude, there's something in you. There's that.
I like mad.
There's a fighter in you.
It hurt though, but
there's a champion in there somewhere.
I like Austin. I like that. I watched that video of you guys sparring. You ate.
That's my favorite part.
And I've seen a lot of guys eat a shot like that and just like, nah, I'm done, and you'll never see him again. But you just like wipe the blood off. And you're like, come on, is that all you got? And you just kept going. And I was like, dude, this is awesome.
The way I look
at
it
is,
didn't he?
Yeah,
it shocked me.
The way I look at it is I've experienced heavy power. Elijah sent me some really good shots, and I know this kid that I'm gonna fight isn't going to throw 10% of the power that I've been hit with in the gym. I'm not underestimating him. I'm just speaking facts. I think he's never felt the power that I have in my punches, the speed that I have, the technical part that I have. It's going to be a rude awakening. I think he took his fight thinking like, oh, the commentator's fighting, which is that plays in my favor. That's good. Like, cool. Go ahead and think that. I'm not Julius Purdue. I don't hit like Julius Purdue, and I don't fight like Julius Purdue. So I mean, I'm banging with these big guys every time I'm in the gym, and Elijah can tell you, you know, my shots are stiff. They might not be shots against the big guys that do anything, but you put somebody my weight in front of me, I'm tearing up Jack.
Oh, don't get it wrong. You hit hard. You hit hard for a guy your size. It's kind of crazy.
I don't have anything as far as like you two have to say, like, bunch of experience. Here's my past fights and stuff. That's the beauty of it. You're just going to have to find out. You're just going to find out that night.
Don't think my fight career is that extensive. I mean, I've trained a long time, but I'm 1-0. I've fought one time. My career got derailed. But like, dude, we're both jumping back in there. We both got those same feelings. Like, we're growing together. That's the best part of it. I'm
more excited. I want to get my fight over with, and the reason why I ain't even asked you to be in your corner or anything for your fight, because I feel like it would be a disservice if I wasn't on the mic.
I want you to be
covering your fight.
I want to hear. I want to go back and be able to watch it and hear you.
And I'm gonna have to watch myself because half of me feels like
and that's why I'd like Keith to be able to hear both of us commentating his fight.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be halfway coaching. You know, hopefully I'm not. You know, but hopefully I can just stay and keep my cool. But man, I'm gonna be.
Now,
29th's going to be amazing. This is the best event that's ever been put on. Like,
I really agree with that. I think this is the best card.
This is the best thing ever,
dude. The whole card is real fighters. It's guys that are training. I mean, even Austin, even your opponent, he's new to this, but he's training, man. And he was he was a really good high school wrestler. And
as far as that, we've talked about that matchmaking. Like, we've tried to kind of shift things. We used to give a lot of guys a chance who, like, maybe were self-trained, just getting started, but we've almost grown and shifted to where everybody on this card is a serious fighter. Like, they're all fighting out of real camps. The talent level has kind of skyrocketed on this card. I can't think of any fights that are like real, like, I can't think of any guys that are really that green.
Yeah. And like you,
nobody that's not taking this seriously, except maybe CJ, which is bad, but
I don't underestimate my opponent. If he watches this right now, no, I don't underestimate you, but that's more dangerous because that has me in the gym wanting to be, I'm not satisfied when I leave. I'm not satisfied. I want more. I want more. I want more. I want more. So I just don't think he has the dog. He don't have the dog in him that I do. He don't have the fire that I do. It's just.
I listen to Jocko Willink a lot. He was a Navy SEAL commander, and he talks about this kind of stuff a lot. And it's something that really stuck with me as far as training and stuff. He said he wakes up really early every morning. He was talking about why he does that. And he said he wakes up early thinking about the enemy. He pictures some guy sitting in a cave, rocking back and forth, like manic, with a machine gun. And that guy's waiting for him, like ready to kill him. That's why he trains. That's why you train. You got to picture that every day. That guy's, you got to think of your opponent shadow boxing. Think of him hitting the bag. Think of him running. Think of him doing everything he can to beat you. And you better be ready for when that day comes.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just going to show you real quick. Cheyenne got mad at me because I changed my background picture because you know how girlfriends are. They always want the background to be them.
I'll change my phone background to her if she wants.
That's you can't see.
You gotta turn off.
You gotta turn your background off on your Zoom.
It's literally my opponent because I want to look at it every day. Like, I'm not taking it lightly. I want to, when I go to bed at night, like, it seems kind of psychopath or whatever, but when I go to bed at night, I really do. I sit and I lay and I stare at my ceiling that way. And I think of this guy that I've went and watched his tape 1 trillion times, and I've broken down everything, and I've had other people break it down, and I've sat down with other people, of that fight against Julius and stuff. There's going to be no part in me when I see him in person that I'm going to see anything different. Like, I'm literally looking into this dude's eyes every time I turn on my phone. I'm literally thinking about this guy. I've turned gay for this guy for a month. I've done nothing. He's all I've thought about, and I'm not intimidated by it.
I'm glad I wasn't the one that had to say it.
I've done nothing but thought about this guy, and I'm breaking it down. And
after your fight, you're probably gonna kiss him, right?
I don't know.
He's gonna kiss somebody.
You remember when Yoel Romero kissed Luke Rockhold right on the mouth after he knocked him out? Oh my God, it's my favorite thing in UFC history. Luke Rockhold is sitting there like he's like staring off into space, rocked so bad. He's like, and Romero runs up and kissed him right on the mouth.
I got nothing against.
I remember the Heath Herring kiss in Pride.
I ain't got nothing against the kid. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, Pride or K1? Yeah, was that Pride or K1?
It was Pride.
Pride.
I bet Austin's never seen that.
No,
these guys were facing off, getting ready to fight, like right before the fight, like standing in each other's face, ready to touch gloves. Heath Herring went to touch gloves, and Heath Herring's a badass dude. He's a wild man, like from Texas. Like you don't want to mess with him. This guy kissed Heath, like in their face off, like right when they were standing close. He went and kissed him. Heath just reared back and punched him right in the face.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Knocked him out cold, like before the fight.
I'd be bad. Listen, I'm for the record, my God, Jesus, I'm not gay. Okay. It's a exaggeration, but I'd be very mad if someone kissed me. If someone pulled some Matt Workman stuff on me, I'd be very mad. Okay. Like if I was Alex and Matt Workman blew me a kiss in the face off, I probably would have smacked
Here
him.
It is, Austin.
But,
check this out.
Yes, I've seen this. See, right in the face off, he decks him. Yeah, it done the same thing. Kiss me in the mouth. It's been me. I've been like,
do you remember Heath Herring's trilogy with Nogueira? Or no, his 2 fights with Nogueira.
Yeah, man.
Those were 2 of the best fights in Pride heavyweight history.
Dude, I was a huge Pride fan, man. I used to love that. Like I
love going back and watching Pride. Fedor is my hero. As far as a fighter, I've got really 2 heroes in combat sport. As far as MMA, it's Fedor.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way he conducts himself. Yeah, that guy is a true champion, and like one of the greatest to ever do it. Maybe, in my opinion, he's right up there. Like prime Fedor, I don't know. I'd put him up against anybody. Still, prime John Jones, even, and also as far as boxing right now, Tyson Fury. I think that's self-explanatory. I think our stories are really kind of eerily similar. Mm-hmm. And I draw a lot of inspiration from it. When I woke up in the hospital, I can remember one of the first things I thought about was Tyson Fury getting knocked down by Wilder in that first fight. And after he got back up and won that fight, he did win that fight. It was a draw, but he won. Backstage, he said, that was for everybody going through health issues. That was for you. If I can come back, I've come back from you. We're a team. Get back up. That was the first thing I thought about. And that's the first thing I posted on Facebook was that picture of him, getting back up. And like, that's that quote. I didn't know what to say. Like, what do you say to people? Because everybody knew. Everybody knew what you knew. You got word. I was in the ICU. People didn't think I was going to make it. Yeah. So how do you come back from that? Like, what do you say? Like, especially when I thought I was inspiring people before that. That's what I was trying to do. You remember all my posts and stuff. Yeah. Like, I think I was inspiring people at that time, but I was going through hell myself. I didn't want to show people that. And I gave up almost. It was almost the end. But I see Tyson Fury, what he's done. He's come back from almost the same thing. Mm-hmm. And now he's heavyweight champion of the world. And he's the best heavyweight of our generation. And I'd put him up against pretty much any heavyweight of all time.
Oh, yeah.
He's truly special.
Dude, I think he is the best fighter to ever live. As far as heavyweight goes.
And he's become such an advocate for people like me. Like, back in the day, and like still to this day, like men aren't supposed to talk about mental health issues. Men aren't supposed to talk about being sad or depressed or broken. You're supposed to man up, toughen up. And like, I honestly think that's killing us. 75% of suicides are men. like men don't have anyone to turn to. We don't have each other to turn to, and that's not right. Like, things need to change. People need to start talking about these things. That's why I tell my story. And I'm pretty open about it. Like, I'll tell anybody what I've been through because I feel like maybe somebody needs to hear it and it can help somebody.
Yeah. A lot of people go to dark places, man. And myself.
We all do.
Yeah. I couldn't.
I mean, we've all been broken at some point.
Like, I've not been there, like, to that extent. So I can't really talk to somebody about that, like.
Well,
it's amazing.
Thing, like, it's hard to know how to help people that are going through that stuff. I feel like I've been gifted because I've been put in all these places young. I'm 26 years old and I've seen a lot of things people my age haven't. And I feel like the entire reason behind it, so it helps me be able to help people. It helps me be able to understand people and what they're going through, no matter what it is. I can relate because I've been in some dark places myself. And the big lesson there is you have to welcome your wounds. If you don't welcome your wounds, how can you expect to help anybody who's wounded? I've had a lot of wounds in my life.
Yeah.
And I think it's just now recently that I've learned they're gifts. Like, it's not so bad to be wounded sometimes. You heal and you grow, and then you can relate better to other people who are going through darkness.
I mean, there's been times we've talked and you could tell I'm going through something, man. And then it's like out of nowhere, I get online and you've sent me a video. It's a video like specifically for like the crap I'm going through, or, you've helped
a lot of those that I'll send people. There were times when I was sitting alone by myself, feeling broken, and that came to me, and I felt like, I needed this. This helped me. Or there's things I've seen that I'm like, this is something, but I don't realize that wasn't even for me. I meet somebody who's going through something. I'm like, that's what they need to hear.
Yeah.
So like, if that's, I do that with a lot of people, and those things matter. Being there for matters. Understanding that people are going through things matters.
Yeah. Right. We got Austin going through some crap right now. Look at him. Got to fight that dude with the mullet there behind him. And
I don't always wake up in the morning, pour myself a strong one. Oh, but when I get lonely, I do. That's all I'm thinking about. I'm excited. I'm excited for the 29th. It's going to be the best show that we put on. And then you got, I guess you could say, 3 staff members. You got the president and 2 of the commentators.
Which one of us is going to get knocked out of the night?
Probably the guy that I fight. And then I'm going to have somebody taking my place writing checks at the end of the night.
Don't expect me to carry you out, buddy. It ain't gonna happen.
We got to keep you at least okay enough to sign my check.
Yeah, really. Go to the hospital after. Sign my check early.
Yeah,
I'll be holding your hand like, come on.
I'll be ringside on a stretcher the rest of the night.
I'll be holding the clipboard and
I'll be
Elijah
chasing you
into
into
the pen in your hand.
Wait,
sign this.
Just sign it.
You like put a pen in my hand and you'll just like,
yeah,
just smart. Yeah, it's good enough. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Like, I'll fill in the dollar amount. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
just leave it blank.
Yeah.
How much is in your checking account, Keith? Just so I
Not enough.
I don't want to bounce this.
Yeah, don't want to bounce
it. Don't cash it till Monday, boys.
Oh Lord. Yeah, I think what I'm most excited for about the night is that I get to fight and then I get to commentate, which is something I love to do, but I get to dress up for both because I like to be flashy. So I get to do both. I get to have my cool box and stuff and then come right back after in my suit. Y'all ain't seen what I got this year, boys.
I'm always excited about your clothes, man.
It started off as a regular interview, but I think we've turned it into the first New Line Cagefighting podcast.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
Which
you
is
you want to say something, Morgan?
Anyway, so.
You want to say something to him? Here. He's a little shy.
Oh, Josh Kirby, not gonna say anything, is he?
Yeah, I know.
I'll tell you what. You want to know something funny?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell a story on you, Austin. You're gonna be mad at me.
What is it?
Came into the gym the other day after he'd posted that, that meme of him knocking him out like Ali. And he said, yeah, I've been talking trash to my opponent and he's not giving me any attention. I don't like that.
Just make me more mad.
It was hilarious.
That's why I said I feel like I feel like I got to trash talk your opponent because my opponent don't give me no attention.
Oh, dude, Kirby's got a good sense of humor. You posted something that had like him getting knocked out and had his.
I know that's what bothered him. He was like,
he just said that's awesome with a crying face. Like he's not going to talk trash. He's just a nice dude,
that's
man.
what I told him. I was like, Kirby's not shook, man. Like you're not in his head.
I like to have fun. With it. It's boring. Oh, you guys are boring. Like,
dude,
I would like to see you guys face to face for an interview. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Kirby's a wrestler, man. I don't think you can get to him. It's probably hard. It's probably hard to get to wrestlers.
Oh yeah, they're tough people.
Yeah,
mentally. That's the thing too. Like I saw his fight with Purdue, and like I don't think Kirby's a bad boxer. Like he's green and he's wild. Mm-hmm. I think you guys are going to have a good fight. I really do. It's going to be probably one of the most action-packed fights of the night. Guys at 125, your output should be incredible. I think it'll be a lot of fun and it'll be a good matchup for you.
Yeah.
I'm setting the tone. First fight of the night. I'm excited that's the first fight of the night. Setting the tone for the rest of the night. And hopefully, the pace gets better and better and better and better throughout the night. I hate watching a slow output fight. I like to see technical, but I mean, I like to. And that's why I'm excited for his card too. We got a lot of guys on here. It's, that's not just willing to fight, but they can fight, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think for the first time that we're doing, a strictly kickboxing event, I think it's going to be huge. And what better way to do that is to load it with the most talented, card that we've ever put together. You're welcome. But
all right, Keith. If I'm the one who should say you're welcome because matchmaking.
I know, but you got me on there, So.
Yeah,
you got the most fashionable guy.
I'm proud of some of these. I'm proud of some of these fights that I helped create.
Yeah, this is a good card.
Austin's only.
We need logo. I need to get this one put up there. We got that one back to kickboxing, so I need to get it somewhere, but let's look at this here. So starting the night off, we got Austin Chafin, Josh Kirby, and then we got kickboxing. I mean, and both of these guys are debuts, but these guys are training, man. I mean, this guy Ali, he is from Kuwait. He's living in Morgantown, going to WVU. He's training at Fight Society, I believe is what it's called. It's a Muay Thai gym, and he's fighting Gage Householder from VO2. And
that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and because
we have two guys that are immigrants on this card. That's really interesting.
Yeah, actually,
Fritz,
true.
And him,
And I think
it just shows how much New Line's growing.
We got another guy here. His coach wasn't 100% sure. He said he thinks Emmanuel was born in Haiti, which is cool because also Fritz was also born in Haiti. So I'm not sure if that's where Manny's from, but he said that's what he was thinking. But we got
like Haitian culture is really interesting too. Like they've had some crazy stuff happen in like a modern era. It's Kuwait too, like with the first the Gulf War and all that. So people from backgrounds like that, there's different mentalities there. Like things are different there than they are here in America.
Yeah. So then we got got your fight with CJ number 3. Pumped about that. Then we got Bobby Johnson and Grayson Hostetter coming back.
That right there, that's one of the best fights of the night.
Yeah. So Bobby won his debut at NLC 6. And Gray won his debut at NLC 7. Then we got
super technical guys right there too.
Yeah. And then we got this fight's going to be interesting. You got Chris Parsons, from Louisville. This Louisville, Tennessee. He trains on his own. Was it him and his buddy Austin? They get on. I think they get on
Austin
Zoom.
Wary, they train together sometimes on Zoom. But now Parsons, I think that last fight kind of lit a fire in him. He's like, I could do this. I could be a serious boxer. So he's, I think, really been trying to find a legit gym. Last time I talked to him, and he's in Knoxville now. He's got OSP's coach there. There's a lot of people. I told him about some gyms. So I would say he's been working with a real camp now.
Yeah.
And he should be improving a lot. And Brittany, on the other hand, Brittany Vaughn, he's fighting her. That's a tough fight. A lot of people, I think, look past Brittany. And we both know that she's got a lot of experience in tough man and stuff and has beaten tough people. And I think she's really hungry after that last fight.
Yeah. Yeah, Brittany is, one of very few trans fighters that fights, and probably the only one that I know of that
fights in the men's division. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because Brittany was, born male and recently, has, started the transition and still competes as a man. And
what Brittany faces too, as far as like some of these idiotic people, like we saw it on the last card, like people can be rough toward her, and like she has to be a mentally strong person to be able to face it, and like still go out there and compete and not let it shake her. I honestly admire her for it. Like I really do. She's definitely got the heart of a fighter.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to seeing her in there again competing.
This fight number 6 got Logan Shuck coming back from Ryoma. He's fighting Casey Gallion. Casey's 0-1 boxing. He lost to Julius Purdue.
You got 2 traditional martial arts guys there, so that should be a lot of fun.
Casey's he's a karate guy. He's got educated feet. He would rather lead with his feet than his hands. So that boxing match he did, that was I think he thought he had an easy matchup, and that's why he took it, because he really wanted kickboxing. We just weren't able to get him matched up that night. Then we got, this is one you've been excited about. This is the fight you set up. The first fight we actually had added to the card. Got Jeffrey Misek from Winchester fighting Zach Hardman from Mineral Wells, West Virginia. And this 10-3, I think a lot of that is tough man matches. His amateur record is probably comparable to Jeff's.
Jeff also has fought a ton.
Yeah,
he's fought a ton in like street beefs. And this is a trilogy. These guys have fought twice before. Once Jeff won in the first fight. Second one, Grayson won. Or not Grayson, I'm so sorry, Zach. I'm crazy. I think they're trying to settle the score here, though, and, end the story.
Then we got Fritz Bariska from Haiti, where he is now... He's kind of bouncing around. He's a chef, and he's kind of traveling the country, working all over the place, man. Fighting Victor Dominguez from Huntington, ground zero guy. Both of these guys making their debut. And then we got this fight here. Got Nick Fisher making his debut. He's fighting this bum named...
I've heard this guy is trash.
Keith Noe. So that, I'm not too excited about that one. Moving on. Number 10, you got William Honecker from Parkersburg taking on Tariq Baker from Huntington. Honecker's one of Ryan.
Be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Honecker's a Taekwondo guy, trains with Ryan Carroll. Tariq is an absolute powerhouse. Funny, when we were setting this fight up, Honecker's like, "Hey, don't match me up with anybody that looks like the Hulk." We're like, "Oh man, don't worry about it. We got you." And, what do we do? We had no idea.
I told him, I didn't know much about Tariq, but I was like, he weighs 350. And the first thing Honecker said was, "Well, I hope he's not a jacked 350." And then we saw the picture, and I was like,
"Oh no!"
But I'll tell you this: William Honecker's game, and I think he's whoever it's going to be. I think he's going to be ready because, I've talked to some of his teammates. I know Tyrone Kenshin. I know Ryan. I've heard Williams no joke. Like I've heard he's got a lot of talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing him fight.
Yep. I'm hearing Tariq's. I mean, they're telling me his teammates tell me he hits really hard. He's strong.
I'm sure he weighs 350 pounds. Yeah, like a lot of muscle on him.
Dude, he looks like Lou Ferrigno, man. He was, absolutely.
I wonder if his cardio is going to be able to hold up. That's the big question with a guy like that. Always.
Yep.
Like, if I were William, that's what I'd be thinking about. But it's going to be a war for as long as it lasts.
Now we got we're doing our 10-minute intermission. Then I should be back from getting my heart restarted by then.
You'll be in the hospital somewhere.
Yeah.
You'll have been evacuated from the arena.
So we got Robert Mayernick,
and I'll be officially in charge of New Line.
Yeah, you will be.
God help.
When the president dies.
So we got Robert and Nathan Hedrick in a 185 match. Robert is Logan Shuck's teammate, and Hedrick is another Ground Zero Huntington guy. Now Hedrick's got he's a lot. It's kind of like the My Second Hardman fight's big height difference. So this is Nathan. Nathan's 3-1 MMA. This is his boxing debut, and Mayernick is 2-1. I'm thinking 2 of those fights are tough man matches, and 1 amateur, or maybe it's the other way around, 2 amateurs and 1 tough man. I can't remember. And then Denzel. Denzel's usually our main event at every event. He's always begging me to let him fight early in the card so he can watch some fights. And, I may end up bumping him up a little more so he can watch more fights. But,
I don't know why you don't bump yourself up to main event. That's what I'd be doing.
I got to be writing checks around the main event time. I can't be, laying in a corner somewhere dead. I got to start cleaning that place up too. So I gotta be recovered by then. So hopefully somebody signed me out of the hospital by the time the show ends.
What's that like? Like the stress of like fighting on your own card. I know some people are probably like, he's fighting on his own card. He's like, dude, you're fighting a tough guy.
Yeah.
And, like on top of everything else you have to do. That's what's crazy.
It does worry me.
Shouldn't be a big deal. It's almost like if you're going to buy a car, of course you would buy it from your own dealership if you was the owner of the dealership. Where else is he going to fight? I mean, seriously. I mean, where else would you go fight? Why not just fight on your own card? If you was going to fight,
that's the thing too. But like, I would almost feel like if you wanted to fight somewhere else, you wouldn't have to worry about the other stuff. See, I don't even know if you realize how much Keith does. It's kind of crazy.
That's why I was trying to get that fight that was 2 weeks before my show. Because I was
when's the last time you sat down and got to watch a New Line card from the audience, like the full card?
The full card, I don't think I have.
Never.
So the last 2, there was one event. I think I only watched 2 fights. That was NLC 2. I got to watch Cody Abbott's fight, and I got to watch Austin Markham's fight.
I think you saw my finish because I remember you coming up and asking me about it afterwards.
Yeah, I was. I didn't see your whole fight. I was doing something. I think I was helping with concession, maybe, or no?
Why?
No, I was helping with. I was helping with tickets.
I didn't see your fight. I was serving nachos at the concession.
Out of all the better things you could have been doing.
Well, dude, we were so short. NLC 1 was a mess. We were so short.
You see what I mean, though? That's crazy.
The 2 guys,
wild.
So we had all these people that were coming to do tickets because you've probably heard horror stories of people trying to get in that night. We had, I think, like 5 people were supposed to have been doing tickets, and 4 of them did not show up. So we had to go and pull 2 people from the concession because, everybody was outside trying to get in. We had like 6 people in the concession and 1 person at the gate because the others just didn't show up. So we had to go pull a couple people off of that. And then a couple of my buddies, Adam McClung, Mike Stowler, they were there helping with security. So we just gave them a bunch of tickets. They went outside. So anybody had correct change, they would sell them a ticket out there. That was a mess. That was an absolute mess. And I think that kind of hurt us moving forward in Williamson because it was like a lot of people were like, dude, it was so unorganized that a lot of people just didn't come back.
That we could have like interesting podcast. I mean, people have no idea what goes into making these cards. I think people want to picture your job. They think of Dana White like sitting in the front row, like kicking his feet back. They don't have any idea at a small promotion. Like, you don't have that many people. Like,
I'm trying to do that a little more. So you noticed that on some of my older cards, I would set up a little office area somewhere far away from the cage, because I had to have my laptop connected to the internet and had to have my printer up so I could get it, because I'm constantly having to print stuff off, get it to the commission and everybody. So I've decided the last few events, I'm going to Jason Workman. I'm like, Jason, this is where I need to have my printer and my computer. I'm setting it up at cage side. I'm like, let's do this right here. That way I'm close to the commission.
Yeah.
I'm accessible to people. I'm not going to be running around like, and if people need me, they see me right here. So I'm trying to
still watch a little bit.
Yeah. It was pretty cool. I'm getting to watch it, but I feel bad because there's times like two of the guys, I set this fight up and these guys are having a war right in front of me, and I'm sitting there writing checks, and I'm not, or like writing something, or like doing something on the computer, getting something printed out.
Well,
I'm like, I feel bad.
That happened with Dana. That is the similarity with Dana. I see that all the time at UFC cards. Like, he's on his phone constantly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people don't realize. Successful people, they're working really hard to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, I've known guys like that I worked with in politics too, that like self-made people that started on their own. Like, a lot of them are working 80 hours a week. Like, they're I know you're working probably that. Like, I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm putting in my, working my day job. I'm working 40 hours a week. Then I'm coming home.
Like, a lot of times, people like that, you'll see them even when they're socializing, they're hanging out, like they're on their laptop or on their phone, they're texting, they're doing this, doing that. Like, it's become that way for me a little bit. Matchmaking that's a 24-hour job. Yeah,
you're taking a lot off of me. That helps. It's helping.
I try. Like, I legitimately enjoy it. I legitimately love being a part of it and doing it. It's just fun for me.
Yeah.
Like, I love MMA. I'm obsessed. I don't know if you guys can tell, a little bit crazy about it. Now that I'm competing again, I feel a little bit nuts again. It's a good thing.
I think it surprises you sometimes when you find out that I'm not even a fan of like UFC. Because
it does shock me.
We're talking and you're like, dude, are you watching this fight? I'm like, what? What fight? What are you talking about?
Well, I just think you got so much going on, you get burnt out. I've been there when I was really hitting training all the time. I started missing cards. Like, I think I lived through it a lot. Like, during dark times, during times when I wasn't training, like, I missed it. I missed it so much. So I'm constantly watching, like, I feel like I've got almost an encyclopedic knowledge of like MMA history and stuff, because like I used to spend hours a day watching MMA and like watching jiu-jitsu stuff. Because, dude, there was a time when I would barely leave the house. I was so stressed I didn't want to leave my house for probably about 2 years. That's the only time I got heavy, got fat, got out of shape, and like wasn't training, and like it was a bad time.
Yeah.
All I had was, to watch. I had UFC Fight Pass. I would watch the Pride Archive, watch Sakuraba, watch Fedor. I learned a lot, though. I think you can learn more than people let on by just watching the sport. You can grow a lot. I've seen guys like that too that come in and train, want to learn, that have been avid fans their whole lives, and like they have a head start.
Yep.
See, when I started jiu-jitsu, though, I really watched MMA in my entire life. Was never a fan. Like, did not know that I would love it. I liked baseball. I liked football. But I was never that big of a sports guy. And then I started rolling, and it was like, this is it. This is it for me. I realized I want to do it for the rest of my life. Like, right away. At 15 years old, I was like, this is going to be a part of my life forever. I didn't know how. I didn't have capacity, but I knew this is it for me.
Yeah, I was a big fan up until about 2008. So something happened when I was competing. I was starting to get good. I started I couldn't watch UFC like as a fan anymore. I kept catching myself like trying to learn from the guys or scout people out. Like, what if I had? I remember one time watching GSP, and I'm looking for, and like rather than just enjoying it for what it is, I'm trying to find holes in this game. Like, man, how can I beat this guy? What if like
you're a crazy person?
Yeah, I was like, if I like, what if one day I make it and I have to fight George, or if I make it, I have to fight Anderson Silva.
I don't think I ever believed in myself enough to be like that. I think I've always been the type of guy that's like, I'm not that good.
At one time, I was getting confident in my ground game, like really confident.
I think everyone does that too, though. I became a cocky shit for a little while. And I think that's part of everybody's journey as a martial artist. You start getting good and you're like, oh man, I'm tough shit. But you get humbled. You stick around long enough, you're going to get humbled.
Yeah, it happens. So, but that one time, I was just seeing everybody as competition, and I kind of lost it as a fan. And then after I quit fighting, I never really got back into MMA. I wasn't looking at it like they were my competition anymore. It was just I was kind of depressed for a long time, and I started gaining a lot of weight. But and I was a truck driver, but that was, I guess, it was a little bit of all that. But
did it make you miss it when you watched it?
Yeah, it did.
Want to get back in there.
Yeah, and it made me like just reflect on all the hard work I had put in that went nowhere. And
now here you are again, getting ready to compete at a time when you didn't think you were going to be back. I find that really inspiring.
Yeah, I've had that itch several times over the years. Like, man, I want to compete. Like, but this time I'm real. This time, man, I know I'm not going to make it. Like, I'm going to be 39 in a little over a month. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere with this. I talk about, the money thing, but I miss it. I miss punching people in the face. I don't miss getting punched in the face. I never liked that. I still don't like that. A lot of people say they love getting hit. That I love getting hit in the face. Dude, I've heard guys say I get hit in the face, my dick gets hard. I've heard like crazy, stupid stuff. I'm like, dude, I hate getting hit. It scares
Denzel Chapman, when we were training the other day, said the exact same thing. He said, there are people, if you say you like getting punched in the face, I don't want to hang out with you. No, because you got something wrong with you.
Yeah. I don't like getting hit. When I was younger, I could take punches, but I wasn't going to let anybody hit me. I was a boring fighter. I was never a skilled boxer when I was younger, and I told you my amateur boxing record was pretty good, but it was like I was a striker. I wasn't a boxer. I didn't have the sweet science. Like, I didn't have it, man. I was 100% self-trained on my stand-up. It was I won't say it was sloppy. It was sloppy in the beginning, but like, I was never a brawler. I was always a boring fighter. I was really good at moving away. I didn't like getting hit. Like, I was scared to get hit. I was like, dude, I don't want to get knocked out. So I got really good at just staying away. But I always had that really good right hand. And I didn't become a good boxer until after I quit fighting. You see these memes all the time of, like, it's like, like nobody, and then a dude shadow boxing in front of a mirror. Like, I did that.
Yeah.
I did that. And then, like, sometimes I'm going to bed, can't sleep. I just go on YouTube and I'm like watching random stuff like how to improve your jab. And like, I'm like, dude, I'm not even working out. I'm not hitting punching bags. I'm never going to fight again. But I'm sitting here watching videos on how to transition from an amateur to a professional boxer, how to make your hook better. And then randomly, like a few days later, I'd walk by a mirror and just be like, start practicing that thing I saw on YouTube.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing as me watching UFC constantly. Like, you need it. Like, once this sport's inside your bones, like, it doesn't go away. Like, you need it. Mm-hmm. I still see old UFC guys. Like, heard Don Frye talking the other day, like, acting like he wanted to fight Ngannou. Like, dude, they don't like, you're always going to have that inside you. I don't care how old you are or how out of shape you are.
Don Frye, man, the dude's crazy. I met him one time. I love that guy. my friend Danny Seitz and I were walking through Columbus, and we're just like, dude, that's Don Frye. We're at we're at this big MMA. It was the Arnold Festival, and there were like all these booths set up everywhere. People waiting in line to get autographs. Don was walking around the crowd. He wasn't there with a booth. He wasn't there as like a celebrity guest. He was just there hanging out, watching fights. And we're like, dude, there's Don Frye, man. We went over and talked to him for like 20 minutes. He was talking about shooting coyotes out on his ranch.
That's amazing.
Like, it was we just had a real good talk, man. And then like we were so pumped about that, man. We met Babalu.
Yeah.
We didn't talk to him. I don't think he spoke English, but
he seemed intimidating too.
Yeah, he didn't look approachable. You know,
how big was he in real life? How big is Babalu?
He was bigger than me. I was probably like 230 at that time. He was bigger than me.
How about height wise? Like, is he taller than you?
I don't think so. No.
That's what I was thinking. I don't believe he's that tall.
But you know, Don Frye was by himself.
How big did Don Frye look? That's my question. I bet he didn't look as big as you'd think.
No, I was bigger than he was, but you know, he's built. You know, he was still built good.
Is he not? He's only like what, 5'10"?
Yeah, he was a lot shorter than me. I don't remember how much, but he was shorter than me.
Mean dude, one of the meanest dudes of all time.
Dude, but he's so
Don Frye is
nice. He's a nice guy. He's approachable. Just a heck of a dude, man.
Don Frye was one of those old school fighters. I bet Keith could pull up some footage for us. Austin's never heard of him.
Yeah.
And Don is like an old school fighter. Like, guys like him don't exist anymore. They really don't. He fought back in the early days of the UFC. I don't know if you know. They would fight 3 times in a night.
No.
Oh, yeah, dude. They would fight 3 times in a night. Could you imagine that?
No. I'm good with 3 rounds. That's cool.
Yeah, here's some footage of Don Frye back in the old days. He was really the first well-rounded guy in MMA. And he had a hell of a mustache.
I don't know how to turn that volume down.
I can't even hear it. Do you remember right after 9/11 when he came out in Pride with that white T-shirt that just said "terrorists suck"? He had the American flag. It was awesome, man.
It just doesn't look impressed there, does he?
I heard him on a podcast, and he sleeps this guy so bad. Watch this in like 5 seconds.
He's got shoes on.
Yeah, back in the early days, man, it was but just about anything goes. Look at this guy. This guy is asleep. Don, though, you listen to him. He sounds like somebody from a different
time. He's going bare knuckle.
He was talking about, Austin, I can't believe you've not seen these. We should do a podcast and watch the early UFCs because I believe it would blow your mind.
Shoes and bare knuckle. Jeez.
Sam Adkins.
That's a big boy right there, actually.
Yeah, they said he was a sparring partner of Tommy Morrison.
I don't remember this one.
That's a big hook, man.
Oh, elbows in the back of the head. Jeez.
Yeah, Don won, I think, 2 tournaments. He was a 2-time tournament champion winner. Then he went on to Pride, had some legendary fights in Pride. That big Asian guy he fought, in Pride, Keith.
Mm-hmm.
You know what his story now?
What's up?
He got paralyzed from the neck down in a wrestling match.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of those Pride guys did both, man. They were like pro wrestlers.
That's why that was his background. He was like a big famous pro wrestler when he fought Frye. They had a lot of those guys
Yeah.
that weren't really fighters. They were more pro wrestlers, but they were so popular.
I'm going to play this.
This really has turned into like a Joe Rogan podcast.
It really has.
What, 2
Dude,
hours?
we've been on here for like 3 hours. You know that, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's definitely going to have to be a podcast now instead of an interview, like a normal interview. Yeah, right here, Takayama. This was one of the craziest fights you'll ever see, Austin.
So,
These guys. What better way to end this, though, than with a good Frye fight?
Yep. That is true.
The UFC actually sued a local bar in Pikeville. You know that, right?
No. Yeah, they were
Whatever
just paying
business package. Yeah, they just paid for the
paying the $60. Yep.
Yeah, the UFC's like, here's a lawsuit.
That's my hero right there, boys.
He's one of my favorites. I love Don Frye.
boys, y'all just wait till the middle of next year when old McGregor makes the comeback of a MMA lifetime and comes and wins
I really
two
do
belts.
not see Conor winning. Maybe another fight.
McGregor's gonna bulk up to like 180 and fight Jake Paul next or something.
I don't
Oh,
see
God, I
Conor
wish somebody
winning
would.
in the UFC again. I really don't.
No.
God.
With his, I think he's going to coming from a man who's been through his share of mental health issues. I think Conor's going through stuff. I really do. Like, I don't know if it's addiction. I don't know what it is, but Conor mentality doesn't seem the same as it was when he was coming up.
Oh, he's
Fame's
almost a
not-
billionaire. He probably just don't have the. I mean,
I feel like he's just as hungry. He wants to win just as bad. But I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's changed.
the last fight was a fluke. No one ever expected him to break his leg. You can't really.
Dude, he was getting smashed before.
Oh my God! He didn't have a mark on his face.
He was getting
He
smashed.
didn't have a mark on his face.
If he wouldn't have broken his
Dustin
leg,
Poirier cheated.
if he
climbed
would,
the-
if I'm telling
Climb the
you,
cage.
if he wouldn't have broke his foot, he would have been stopped in that next
Oh my
round.
God! And Dustin would have been choked out if he wouldn't have cheated to get out of the choke.
I'll tell you this: the guillotine was really tight.
It was, and then he
really
climbed
tight.
up with his feet.
Poirier let him get into it. Poirier like baited that guillotine, like, and thought, I'll get out of it.
And then,
And then
said,
it got really tight, like for a second there,
yeah,
which would have been
Jesus.
crazy. What if Conor would have tapped Poirier? My God. If he
Yeah,
would have just
I-
wrapped his legs up, if he could have got a hold of Poirier's legs there, he would have finished it.
Well, that's what
Very-
me and Chris was saying when we was watching it B-dubs, you know, it was like, rap, what are you doing? Like lock your leg. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
he
It's like,
almost what he was doing was like almost trying to elevate him and sweep him to get to the top, I believe. If
yeah,
can
I know, but
remember.
then it just completely.
But if he would have just wrapped him up, he was deep under the neck. I think he could have had enough leverage to finish it.
I mean, worst comes to worst, he was still going to be on bottom position, getting ground and pounded either way. I mean, if he would have lost the choke while wrapping up, or
Well, a lot of guys like to use that guillotine like butterfly hooks. I do it myself, rolled him out with it. I think that's what he was trying to do. But if he would have just wrapped him up, I think he was so deep on that.
he was hurt anyways. That's why he went to the ground. He would have never went for it. He was hurt. I don't know if his leg was hurt, but he did eat like 2 or 3 shots. And then
Guillotines are really tricky because
I don't think
like,
he ever intended to go
even
for
if the guy's
guillotine.
really good, he think like guys get too comfortable in them. If you don't start addressing that right away, peeling those hands off, like getting your head out, you got to respect the guillotine.
Yeah.
That's how you get caught. If you don't respect it quick enough, you get caught in it. Josh Barnett's one of the best grapplers in the world, and Ben Rothwell caught him in a guillotine. Like they creep up on people, and that's what almost happened to Poirier there. It was kind of interesting.
I don't. This is my UFC predictions for that weight division right now. Me and Chris talking about it. We had like a 2-hour argument, but okay. So we know Makachev is killing the division right now.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is Dustin is. I don't know if they've already released a fight for Dustin or not. I don't think he's going to go to Nate Diaz. I think Dustin and Makachev will go after Makachev's fight that's already scheduled. I think Makachev wins this. He'll go to third ranked, then he'll fight Dustin. And then if he wins, then he'll fight Oliveira for the title if he's still there.
See, I think you got two options for Oliveira.
Or
after Oliveira beat Poirier, I think you got two logical options. You got Makhachev, of course, and you have Gaethje.
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those two guys.
But Dustin's already beat Gaethje. That's the thing.
Yeah, but Dustin's out of the picture now.
I know.
Can't think about that.
You don't
like now. Right, a rematch between Poirier and Gaethje would be fire.
Yeah,
that would be great.
I think maybe what will happen, it'll be Dustin and Michael Chandler on an undercard, or not on an undercard, but like a co-main event, and then it would be Makhachev and Oliveira for the title.
I would do you know the fight that I think Conor should have? The fight that Conor could win?
Tony Ferguson.
Nate Diaz. I like the Tony Ferguson idea too. If Tony's at a stage in his career where that would be good.
Nate Diaz is at a stage in his career where he could get whooped by a grandma. He's just he's done.
I don't agree with that.
I think it's too easy of a fight for Conor. I think it's too easy. I think it's like a cowboy situation.
Conor,
it was too
Nate
easy.
Damn near beat Conor twice. He beat him once for sure.
I know,
Second
but here's
so close.
But Conor ain't lost any skill. Diaz has slowed down. He's slowed down.
Conor is definitely. He's not the same man he was when he fought.
Well, Diaz definitely ain't the same. I mean, if anything, I would hate for someone to pay $60 to watch Conor McGregor punch him one time and slit his eye open, then the doctor stop it.
Who's that behind you, Keith?
That's Keith Pecora, the second.
I remember that kid.
Wait, who's this guy going after Keith? What's that? Who's that skinny little dude?
That guy died years ago.
Who's that skinny little dude there?
Do you remember when you did the commentary for that? I remember you called it long and lean.
Long and lean.
One of you, whoever it was, you guys suck. You guys really suck. When I started to get this, you said it was a front face lock. Whoever said that, oh my gosh. He's got a front face lock there. I don't think it was you.
You do have a front face lock there. Look at you.
Oh my God.
Oh God, that's deep.
That was the tightest guillotine I've ever landed. Ever.
Look at his face.
You know why? I grabbed my own glove. I finished it in a way that I've never finished one before. Like my grip slipped on me a little bit. And so I just grabbed a big chunk of my own glove and I was able to get shit. Sorry. I accidentally muted myself. I was able to get really deep because of that.
Got two combinations going on here.
Oh man,
I got one for you.
Keith don't pay me enough, guys. I'm gonna have to find out another way to make some money.
I don't know if anybody's even going to see this. Like, who's going to watch the video this far?
Everybody.
Some loyal.
We're so compelling that everybody's going to be watching this.
All right, everybody, make a prediction. You want to predict one person that's going to see this, but you can't tell that person to watch it either.
Steve Walden,
Jason Workman,
David. No, I'm gonna go Denzel Chapman.
Shout out to all those guys.
Yep.
With
it. Shout out to Steve.
Whoever's still here, you all need to get a life.
Yeah, y'all need to go bed, dude.
We need to go to bed.
Yeah, I think we've about squeezed all the juice out of this one that we can.
Yeah. Well, our little pre-fight interview turned into an all-out, like podcast that we could probably break up into a whole season. But
yeah, really.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Kirby.
Appreciate it.
So, James,
it's been a lot of fun.
You haven't heard. Yeah, you haven't heard the end of. You haven't heard the end of us. We're gonna, I'm sure we're gonna do this again. But yeah, January 29th, all three of us are fighting.
New Line Championship Boxing Podcast. It's official.
There we go. All right. Thanks everybody for watching.